All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, Flight ready to talk about the Montreal Alouettes' massive win, 27-14 versus the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Just waiting for my man Tim Capper to join in. Wow, what a game. Let me tell you, folks, it's not how it starts, it's how it's finishing. Goodness gracious. Just waiting for Tim. Oh, looks like he's online now. Hold on a second here. Just bear with me a second, folks. One day we'll get this right. One day we'll make it seem like we actually know what we're doing. But in time. Okay, Capper, where are you at? Oh, okay, what the hell? Well, I mean, while I'm waiting for Tim to get through, okay, it looks like, all right, we're just going to have to be patient. We'll make sure to get Tim in here as well, because I want to get his thoughts as well, because I tell you, this was not the prettiest game by any stretch of the imagination. But a win's a win. That's how you got to look at it. With this win, the Hamilton... hold on, here we go. All right.
Hey!
Welcome aboard. You made it.
Yes.
Here I am trying to kill time, just waiting for you to grace us with your presence. So thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. That was, but have you done the intros?
Well, I just basically said that was quite the game. I mean, the Alouettes, the Montreal Alouettes won 27-14 over the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Cliffy D, Tim Capper below.
Welcome to Flightdeck Live.
Flightdeck Live, yes, 100%. Let's get into it. I mean, that was quite the game, let me tell you.
Yeah. One of the worst, probably one of the worst. I mean, everybody knows right now that the Alouettes offense really has been anemic this year. You know, up till halftime, they had not scored. They had not scored in way too long. I mean, it was by the time that they scored in the fourth quarter, they had not scored in just under 120 minutes, which is mind-blowing to know that they were still 2-0 in that period. And it didn't. Cody, Iron Cheese, David Cote missing 2 field goals again. Now, mind you, one was off the upright, but still.
He dunked it, yeah.
It was not a very fun first half whatsoever.
No, I actually saw someone online actually said it was Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong did go wrong for the Montreal Alouettes, and it's hard to dispute that. I mean, that was definitely not the best quarter of football we've ever seen from this team. By any stretch.
And by the way, TGG, dude, I see you in the chat. We missed you, buddy. We really did. We hope you get well really, really soon. We can't wait to see you on the field.
Yeah, but let me tell you, this team, whatever adjustments they made in the second half, perfect. Because, again, the second half, it was 24-3 for the Alouettes. They dominated. They clamped down. They did what they had to do to get this win. And it's a huge win, too, because now the Alouettes have won the season series versus the Hamilton Tiger Cats. That could be huge towards the end of the year.
Very much so, very much so. Obviously, and they took advantage of Toronto losing. That's a huge question mark going forward now, too, at least until we see what happens next week. But Stanback got his 11th career 100-yard game, his first since November of 2021.
Oh, yeah.
So it was so nice to see him. The guy stepped up. Austin Mack with a game-time decision. Played so well, over 100 yards again. Tyler Snead, just shy of 100, But man, and still, as I'm watching here, I'm watching the Alouettes post-game show too. Just quickly glancing at it, and right before we came on, Cody Fajardo. That to me, because CFN was able to go back and see when the tweak, or I don't want to call it injury, because they're not calling it injury. That could be concerning. Could be. Mind you, it's his non-throwing arm, but that could be concerning. We'll have to see what happens with practice this week.
Yeah. And before that, I mean, let's talk about what I felt was the TSN turning point of this game. The incredible flea flicker to Courtney Davis. Caught everybody napping. And, you know, that's how this team wins. They pull out plays that nobody expects, and it's hilarious. I mean, that was just a thing of absolute beauty. And just from that point, it really felt like it set the tone and just ensured that Montreal was going to walk away with those win. Because, the second half started, and, I mean, field goal, it just felt like they were chipping away at the lead. And
no, it started off worse in the second half. A fumble.
Well, yes.
But from then, everything... Down. I mean, it was great.
Yeah. And Sean Lemon with his first interception as a Montreal Alouette.
He made his presence felt so hard this week. So hard.
2 sacks, 1 INT. I mean, wow. I mean, that.
I think forced fumble too. I think I'm checking the stats here, but I think a forced fumble.
No, it was again definitely money well spent going out to get Sean Lemon. I mean, he definitely made it. And again, you see how everybody on the defensive line. He brings everybody up. Like, everybody has been playing so much better now. Mustafa Johnson, Jamal Davis with another great sack towards the end of the game.
Yep.
I mean, this defensive line definitely has shown that they can play. And got to give a shout-out to Frederic Chagnon. My God, this guy came alive tonight. Like, he got his first career start with the Alouettes as linebacker and looked fantastic. Like, he was really involved in a lot of the plays. He definitely made stuff happen. I mean, just nothing outstanding, but I mean, like, his presence was felt. And considering the number of injuries that this team has on defense, his presence definitely made a huge difference tonight.
And the Sibasu touchdown. Woo, baby.
That was nice. However, I didn't like him spiking the ball the way he did and drawing that.
Taunting. I saw that too. I was like, what's the call? They said number 83. And then I saw the replay. I was like, oh, God, it was for taunting.
Yeah, that was ill-advised.
The big play too that helped the Alouettes. Obviously, in that fourth quarter was the drive extender by the roughing the kicker.
Oh, massive right there. I mean, that that did it. I mean, my goodness, like the fourth quarter was definitely a thing of beauty for the Alouettes, and Hamilton just couldn't seem to get anything going in the second half at all. And it's funny because the first half, like Taylor Powell looked like Peyton Manning. Like, he could almost do no wrong other than the picks that he was throwing. But, I mean, he did a good job of driving down the field and making plays happen. But the second half, it was like a tale of two teams, really, when you think about it.
No, for sure. And I did not know the final stats, and we're checking here now. Cody ended up with 318 yards passing. Well, what a second half. As I mentioned before, Wayne Stanbeck, 19 attempts, 106 yards. Obviously, we'll go into more of this in detail on the podcast on Wednesday. And Austin Mack, as we mentioned before, even though it was a game-time decision, 106 yards on 5 receptions. So, and then the O-line, and specifically O-line and Stanback great. It was just a great win for the guys. Shout out, by the way, Davis. Shout out to Davis Alexander, who just joined. Man, it was nice to see this comeback, considering how concerning it was with not being able to score offensive touchdowns. Usually, if you go that period of 120 minutes of not scoring an offensive touchdown, usually you're 0-3. Luckily for the Alouettes, as I said, they did what they needed to do. They held the Calgary to no offensive touchdowns themselves, and they came 18-0 in the fourth quarter tonight.
No,
so
it's just absolutely outstanding. And it's so funny too. Like, during the game, obviously, tweeting from the Alouettes Flightdeck X account. Posting from the Alouettes X account. God damn, I hate this Twitter thing.
Just call it Twitter.
But a lot of people were coming at us because, again, the Alouettes did not look good in that first half. No. But I'm keeping all the receipts, and I don't want an apology. I want everyone who is chirping I expect an apology from y'all for doubting this team because, agreed, it was not pretty. And believe me, this first half team did not do anyone any favors. But the way they came back, as we always say, it's not how you start in the Canadian Football League, it's how you finish. And the Alouettes finished in a big way tonight.
Yeah.
And
it was tough too. I mean, considering that what happened in the first half with 200, or at least they were early. That's funny to say. You know, in the past couple of years, we've had issues with fourth quarter interceptions, totally taking the Alouettes out of the game or during a particular drive. They were early. That's the thing. They were early, and the same thing with the Cote misses. Even though we could have been only down by 2 at halftime, could have been.
Mm-hmm.
But it is what it is. They made the modifications at halftime, and again they outscored them 20, as you said earlier, 24-3 in the second half.
It's interesting to know too that the Alouettes now are 2-0 this year at Tim Hortons Field, and could they be back for a third game in Tim Hortons Field? You know which game that would be, right?
Yes, I do. That's all I'll say. But yes, I do.
I know. Again, it is early, and I'm not making any bold predictions or anything like that, but, I mean, that definitely bodes well. At least the Alouettes know that they can go into Tim Hortons Field and come out with a W. So you've got 2 now. Can we make it 3?
Yeah. Anything else to stand out to you, Cliff? As I say, we're going to be obviously going into this more on the podcast this Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
But anything else that really stood out to you? I mean, I know we covered quite a bit, but for you, anything?
I mean, once again, just the play of Tyler Snead. My God, this kid really does remind me so much of Ben Cahoon. Just getting those dirty yards and just moving the chains the way he does. And also had a great block, I think it was in the third quarter. Just gave Cody the chance to make a play happen. And my goodness, like that's what we want to see. And I still remember everybody saying the Alouettes were going to be garbage this year because they have no receivers, because there's no Geno Lewis, there's no Jake Winicki. Well, take a look at the guys we have now. And I'm also seeing, too, Tyson Philpott slowly getting back. Like, he's starting to get that rhythm going just a little bit with Cody Fajardo. Again, let's not forget, folks.
And some returning tonight, too.
Yep. Yeah, he did that, too, because unfortunately Chandler Worthy, didn't get a chance. I felt they could have opened up a few more lanes for him. I was really looking forward to seeing him get another house call in Hamilton, but it just wasn't meant to be. But, yeah, Tyson Philpott doing a couple of returns as well. I think he is starting to slowly build that chemistry again with Cody Fajardo, which again is only going to be a good thing going forward. So, yeah, we'll jump into this more later on in the week during the podcast. But I mean, there's a lot to like here. There wasn't a lot to like in the first half, but I mean, this second half, this team got itself together, and as far as I'm concerned, this was a good win. This was the kind of win you expect out of this team, and kudos to everybody involved, because this was a team effort. On all 3 facets of the ball, the Alouettes did what they had to do. Now they're 4-3, firmly in second place in the Eastern Division, and now they come home and get to face the Saskatchewan Roughriders next Friday. That's
funny, and like I said before earlier, taking advantage of the Toronto loss. For me, just the names that were stood out tonight. I mean, you talk about Rogers again. Obviously, you talk about Sean Lemon, Stubblefield. You can't also forget about specifically that the partially blocked punt by Jamal Davis. So that helped set something up for the Alouettes too. So everything that went wrong in the first half, everything went right in the second.
It's literally a tale of two teams, a tale of two halves for this game. Like, you almost just want to burn the tape for the first half of this game and just focus on the second half. But you know what? It is what it is. They're 4-3 now, the Alouettes. They got good momentum still, and there's a lot to be very proud of. So I'm curious to see what it's going to be like next week against the Rough Riders. They're going to be playing tomorrow against the Ottawa Red Blacks, and they too. It's going to be a bit of a rough go for the Rough Riders, because I mean, Ottawa is one of those teams that you can't count them out either. So
no.
This Eastern Division, when you take a look at it, this Eastern Division is tough. I mean, Hamilton by and large did play the Alouettes pretty tough. I mean, they too they let things get away from them, and that's just what it comes down to more often than not. It's just you got to be able to close. And I think it was is it Rene Bourbonnais? I hope I'm pronouncing it. Or Renaud Bourbonnais, sorry. He actually had a tweet like, this time the 2022 Alouettes would have lost this game, but the 2023 Alouettes, they find a way to win, and you can't be mad at that at all. If you're an Alouettes fan, you've got to appreciate it wasn't pretty. No question about it. This was not pretty, but they got the win. Whereas last year, they would have found a way to lose this game. Whereas here, they find ways to win, and that's huge.
Yeah. So again, it's something that we check the practice roster the practice schedule, the injury list this week. It'll be very interesting to watch the team, considering how many guys that went down this past week, giving us a grand total of, who would have thought, 14 guys on the injury list so far. And still have they done so well as they've had. So they've been able to plug things in where they've had the holes. So again, I don't know when they'll start their practice, but I think it'll probably be a short week also, considering that tonight's game. So probably another 2 days next week. But we'll see once the team releases it on their webpage. So
yeah. So Alouettes fans, enjoy this win because it's huge. Don't kid yourself. This is a huge win, and as I said, this team's got the momentum right now. Things are trending in the right direction. Just got to keep cleaning up those little things here and there, and there's a lot to be happy about. So let's call it a night for now. Please, by all means, tune into the podcast. Make sure you're following us on social media, whether it's X, Facebook, Threads, here on Instagram. Obviously, if you're following and you're watching this, obviously you know about it. Yeah. Throw up the X, like Des Bryant.
And also too, with this will be available on Reels, and it will be available on our YouTube page if you happen to miss any of it, as all of our archives for our lives, and obviously make sure you catch up, if you didn't already, to this week's show, which is over and available over at alouettesflightdeck.ca.
Absolutely. So once again, the Montreal Alouettes beat the Hamilton Tiger Cats 27-14. Fantastic win, Tim, and man, this is a good feeling. It's a good way to get the weekend going, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, sir. I agree with you. So enjoy the win, as he said. We'll talk to you, or well, you'll hear us. You'll hear us on Wednesday. So we'll talk to you soon, buddies.
Yeah. Thanks again for tuning in, folks, to Flightdeck Live. Have yourself a good night, and go Owls go.